What's up, family? It's your girl Samantha Lee. I'm sorry, you guys, for being delayed tonight. It took me a minute to get my daughter to sleep. I didn't even change really to get on here, and then normally I would wear something a little bit more, um, live appropriate. But I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I want to respect people's time. I apologize, you guys, but welcome to tonight's show. It has been quite a situation. I'm not gonna lie. It has been thing after thing here today, where I'm gonna just be real about it because why not? Sorry, I'm gonna make sure that I have everything that I need for tonight. I apologize. So anyway, um, so I'm yeah. So God has shown up in my life, and for everybody that doesn't know, I'm gonna set up my TikTok thing here as well, so they can see me on TikTok. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Again, I apologize for the delay. I'll be honest with you, I try to get my head together before I go on these lives. I really want to hear from God. I don't want to come on here and I haven't heard from God, and so that's just what it is, So I want to make sure that I'm not coming on here and I'm saying the right things or what God want me to say. And I want to be in the right headspace. I'm over here also. Sorry, y'all. I'll let you know in the morning. So anyway, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. My headspace isn't the best right now, but we gonna get into it. I don't care what it is. We gonna get into it. Hell or high water, we gonna get into it. Okay. So, and it's crazy because y'all today, like, it's just how the enemy is, y'all. The enemy just doesn't want people to be content with what God is doing in someone's life, period. You know what I'm saying? And so what he'll do is that he'll send things to distract you and to get you into a place where you can't enjoy it. Something else is going on in my life. And so, or in your life, or whoever we're talking to. So I'm gonna go over here and just go live here on. I wanted to try a different thing, but it's okay. So yeah. So anyway, you know how the enemy is. He gets upset. So I'm gonna go ahead and make him real mad because I'm gonna definitely say that. And we're gonna get into the 7 divine clues that she's the one. For those who don't know, I wish I could just start this all over, but I'm not. My name is Samantha Lee. If you guys don't know me already, I have a platform on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And I am a therapist that talks about relationships. But I have really decided to get into a different vein. When I started this platform years ago, when I was on Instagram, and that was like in 2020, when I was really like on and going live and stuff like that. I was talking about God. That's where I started. And let me be honest with you. I went through a lot of different things to where it made me feel like I didn't want to do it anymore. And really, it probably wasn't the time for it anyway. I wasn't ready. I was too focused and worried about people's perspectives and opinions. I was not focused enough about God being okay with me or God being pleased with me. I was more focused on what people had to say about me and whether it was true or not, and wanting to defend myself and all that stuff. But I've gone through a process, and I've really surrendered to the calling that God has me in, and I'm not going to allow anybody or anything to get in the way of that. That's just where I'm at right now. And so that's really where I'm at. I am now, unapologetically living the way that, or speaking to the things that I feel like God is speaking to me about, and I'm doing it unapologetically. Okay. And I may not look the way that people think I should look. I don't carry myself the way people think I should carry myself. I may not be, have a doctoral degree from a theological school, but I love Jesus. And guess what? I'm going to talk about him. He gave me a platform. I'm going to talk about him. That's just what it is. Okay. So That's me in a nutshell. And so tonight we're talking about the 7 divine clues that she's the one. And I really hope that you guys dial into this. I'm seeing a lot of men, and I'm seeing a lot of men in God that are really struggling in this area. I know I get in contact with a lot of women and females that happen to think that there aren't men that are looking for women of God. But if you ask me, I meet men every day that are looking for women of God. So I don't know. I feel like there's a obviously an in between, a in between that I can't explain, that I'm going to address. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it tonight, because why not? Let's bridge this gap. Okay, because again, I actually was became friends with a woman. She coaches women about being wives and things like that. And I was talking to her about, she was like, a lot of women don't find men and this, that, and third. And I said, don't find men of God? What you mean? They're like, there's just no men. There's lots of men. What are you talking about? And in her experience, there isn't any men. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, I meet a lot of men that genuinely want women of God. Okay. And I just, that's just where I'm at with it. That's what I believe. That there's men who will write me emails, text. Men want women of God. They don't want all the baddies or whatever the case may be. They, of course they want to, that's fun, but they're looking for women of substance to set up when they're talking about like actually being in a real relationship. That's just my perspective. Okay. But we gonna get into it, because I have some things I really want to say to the men, to the women. I look, I have a lot I want to say. But before I get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, again, my name is Samantha Lee. I have a podcast channel on YouTube. It's called More Than Just Pretty. That is my podcast that I put out weekly. I now have a visual to the podcast, so you can watch me talk live, which is actually a new thing that we've got going on. So if you guys want to see me talk about whatever I'm talking about, it's more of my spiritual diary, I would say. I'm just being completely honest on there. I'm holding nothing back. I'm telling y'all the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. Everything that God downloads to me, I share with you. Okay. And usually it's about what God is doing with me, right? Because I'm not going to go on there and do like prophetic things, but sometimes what I'm dealing with, you're dealing with. And it may help you to hear what God has said to me and what he's taught me in that time. So please join me as I share unapologetically. So that's hashtag More Than Just Pretty. That is on YouTube. And before I get into it, I really do want to make the enemy mad. Y'all, God showed up again for me today. God showed up again for me today. And I just want to tell you guys how faithful he is. That if you're obedient, he's faithful. That when you're not obedient, he's not faithful. Well, he's faithful, excuse me. He is faithful. But when you choose your way, you don't have the assurance that you do when you choose his way, right? When you choose your way and you do your own thing, God can't cover that the way he can cover his plan, right? So it's like I'm actually debating right now. I'm supposed to be going on a cruise. And when I'm going on this cruise, they asked me about getting an insurance plan. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get the insurance plan. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. I'm probably have to pray about it and figure that out. But the fact of the matter is, the cruise line offered insurance, right? To say, like, listen, if you take our direction, if you take our way, there's insurance that we offer because you're deciding to ride in our cruise. If you ride in my airplane, there's insurance that you can buy because you're deciding to choose our airline. Which means to me that when you're choosing God's way and you're being obedient to his plan, I'm not saying perfect, but I'm saying obedient. He has insurance to cover you as you're walking in obedience. So I want to say that to a lot of people because they tell me all the time, like, I don't hear God, I don't see God, I don't know. Y'all, when you're trying to walk in obedience, and I'm telling you, it's not an easy walk. I fought a lot of the way to the point that I'm at now because I'm stubborn, and there was things, wounds that were speaking that I didn't even know were speaking. But now where I'm at, yeah, no. I'm like, okay, God, what do you want? I might give him a little fight. I might give him a little something because I'm, that's my personality. I'm give you a little something. But now it's like, okay, God, that's what you want me to do. I'm going to do it. What else? What else you want me to do? I might cry a little bit about it, but we get on and we get to moving. But I've learned that taking steps of obedience, there's an assurance with that. An assurance with that doesn't go with me choosing my way. So I want to say that today, y'all, again, God had told me to do something by a certain date. I had no idea how I was going to do this because I did not have the resources to do what God was calling me to do. So I was like, God, I don't know. But he told me a date. I wrote it down. I literally have it written over there in a pad of what he wanted me to do and when he wanted me to do it. And so I was waiting up until that date. And y'all, the person I was communicating with about it, they wrote me today, like, hey, just following up, what's up? And I'm like, at that point, because I still don't have the resources, I'm like, I don't know. I might have to tell you, I don't know. God said to wait. And so I'm waiting. Yes, I'm waiting. So I'm waiting, right? I'm waiting. And I'm like, okay, God. Okay. So the woman ends up out of nowhere texting me today to follow up with things. And so I go and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to figure out a way out of this because I don't have the reason. I don't have the reason at this point in time as to like whether I can do this or not. So back up, right? I go in and I'm doing things for my account, like I'm just getting things together with me. So I'm looking things up. And I look, and the moment that she messaged me was the moment that the resources became available for me to do what God wanted me to do. So again, y'all, I'm telling you, God is why would God have this woman reach out to me at the very millisecond that he would make the resources available in my account to be able to do what he wanted me to do? I'm telling y'all, God is faithful. He is faithful. He is faithful. He is so faithful. He is so faithful. And so when I saw that, I was like, God, I cannot believe that you're doing this again. Like, you're showing up again. You told me to wait to a certain date and you did it again. Like, he just keeps showing me, y'all, and it's not always in different ways. It might be an answer that I'm looking for. It might be this, and he'll tell me to wait. 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 And I'm like, you know what, God? I know that you're faithful. I know that you're faithful. I know that you're faithful. And so, again, you guys, I'm just so I don't know. At this point in my life, I'm just feeling so, I don't know. Like, okay, God, when I take steps of obedience, he follows up. When I take steps of obedience, he follows up. When I take steps of obedience, he follows up. And again, you guys, it's not always easy. It doesn't always make sense. But when God calls you to do something, do it. Because I'm telling you, he is faithful. He is faithful. Okay. So I had to do that praise report because again, if it wasn't for, I tell Pam and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Not that I would do, meaning I wouldn't tell people. I would just tell Pam, but I know that God has called me to share way more. And so I'm just so thankful. because God is faithful. All right. I want anybody that's trusting him and believing in him. He's asking you to do something that may not make sense to you right now. You don't know how. He may be asking you to move. He may be asking you to go to a different location. He may be asking you to give up this or go here or do that. Trust him. He's the God of the universe. Why wouldn't you trust him? I mean, you trust your little bonehead friend, but you're not going to trust God? If God is leading you somewhere, you don't think that he's going to provide a way like he's always done? He's God. All right, so just understand that obedience is so much better than sacrifice. Okay? So y'all, let's get into it. Let's get into it. 7 divine clues that she's the one. Signs that a woman is truly sent from God. Why is this important, y'all? Why is this important? Okay? Why is this important? Because a lot of guys, what they do is a thing called missionary dating, which means you find a woman who is not at all trying to walk the walk with God. Women do this too, but tonight we're talking to men. Find a woman that has nothing that couldn't pray her way outside of a box. Okay? You find a woman that couldn't pray her way outside of a box, and you say, you know what? She's the one. Let's get into it. Right? And I'm going to bring her to the Lord. How do I know that this has happened? Because it's happened to me. There was a time in my life where I was not with the Lord. And there was a man that decided he wanted to take that time with me. And he had already, the first thing he ever said to me was, if I had a wife as beautiful as you, I'd be the happiest man on the planet. Mind you, I'm a 20-year-old girl. So at that time, I'm like, okay, I'm not, I might have been younger than 20. I might have been 18. Ooh, young Sam, 18 years old. And he said it to me at 18, just stepped on a campus, wet behind the ears. I had no idea what I was doing in life. And so he tells me, if I had a wife as pretty as you, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be the happiest man. I wouldn't want to leave home, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. Now I was like, I'm 18. So think 18. I'm like, boy, bye. Because I whatever. So anyway, long story short, man turns out to be a prophet. And in him, me recognizing like a real God gift, I'd never seen that before. I've never seen anything like that before. I was like, this is real. This is God. He's hearing from the one true living God. There's no way. I'm convinced, God. God is real. Let me stop playing these games. Let me turn my ways to God, right? That's what was my initial thoughts, because I'd never seen a gifting like that in my life. I just hadn't. I went to a typical Baptist church where you weren't seeing prophetic and speaking in tongues and casting out spirits. Like, you just weren't seeing that. You weren't seeing that. So essentially I get to God by way of this person. And this person thinks, okay, well, now that she's with God, I can marry her. That was not the plan. The plan was to get me to God. It wasn't about get me to God so that now you can marry me and it wouldn't be shameful because I'm now a woman of God. I'm in the church every Sunday, this, that, and the third, whatever. And so he tells me that, if I don't marry him, then I will be disobeying God. And I'm compromising my future, essentially. And I literally run away. And I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I literally want to throw up. And I knew I didn't know what that was, but I don't know what spirit that was or what that was. But I did not, there was no part of me that, no disrespect to him, but there was no part of me that wanted to marry him. I say all that to say this. A lot of people decide that they want to meet people and then lead them to God because, oh, you're my type. let me just get you into Jesus so I can make this okay. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Right? So a lot of times, and God works in mysterious ways. There's a lot of different ways that people come together. So I'm not going to limit that. But I think a lot of people, because of their own selfish motivations, decide they want to witness to people, make them Christians, and then call them a wife or call them a husband. That's not how this works. It's just not how this works. Okay. God tests the heart. Now he can work it for your good, meaning that the good part was I did end up getting introduced to the faith again. But he was not going to honor something that was built off of selfish ambition. Right? So although yes, you led me to God, but it wasn't going to bring us together. So, it's just one of those things. Right? So again, I think a lot of men, and I don't really know why, guys. Like, this is what I really want to understand, even from this live. Y'all forgive me. I've got this thing happens for me today. It all by the grace of God, and then I suddenly don't feel well immediately. So you don't understand the warfare that has been going on in my household. Because God has been moving. I see miracles, warfare. It is real. Okay. So pray for your girl, man. If you don't listen, but if you don't pray to Jesus, don't pray for me. But anyway, y'all, this is the one thing I have to ask y'all, because this is a burning question within my spirit. Why do you guys, just a conundrum, why do you guys decide to, there's so many women in the church, and I'm not saying all the women in the church are, from the Lord. I'm not saying that, but I am saying there's a lot of women in the church. All right. My question to you is, if there's so many single women in the church, and there's a fraction of them that probably are really, they're really sold out for God. They're Bible, they're really in it. They know the word, they know this, they know that, like they're in it. Why is it that some guys, they're like, I don't want no women in the church, I want women outside the church? Why is that? If you're looking for a woman of God, and you're in churches where it's majority women, and you're struggling with women on the outside, which is clear, why continue to date that way when you can find a woman in the church? Now, that doesn't guarantee, obviously, women in the church don't guarantee they walk in the narrow path. But it's like, why put yourself in a position because what some of the issues that I be hearing about are people that put themselves in situations and then they're mad that they're in the situation. I.e., oh, hey, I'm dating a 20-year-old girl, but she keeps playing games. Well, hello, she's 20. It's like, what did you expect from a 20-something-year-old girl? I wouldn't expect, honestly, today, women in their 20s, period, are probably going to be playing more games than any other age group you're going to deal with. So to me, it's like, that is an obvious, like, of course that's going to happen. I don't care who you are. I don't care I don't care what you do. A girl in her 20s, whether it's going to be games because she's seeing what else is out there, or it's going to be games because she don't want you with nobody else, or it's going to be games because she's stalking you, or because she's, there's just a lot that goes with 20-something-year-olds. My question is this: if you want women that are God-fearing women that hold themselves to a higher moral standard, because the issue with quote unquote modern women is that they don't have a moral standard and they don't have a moral foundation and they're not treating you well. If that is the case, then why still go for the same type of women that you're going to complain had the same problems? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I hear men like, it's like there's millions of women in the church, millions that could have these. I'm not saying they're perfect now, but what I am saying is you have a better chance of finding the one in a church than you do in the club, on a dating app. That's all I'm saying. And again, I'm saying this because I know that there's a lot of men that desire women of God. I know that from my own personal experience. So I wonder about that, guys, because I think a lot of guys are, I don't know. I don't know what it is about, because I know for me personally, I meet a lot of men that desire or tell me that they desire a woman of God. They want to get married, they're ready, like immediately. I meet a lot of men like that. But there's a lot of women not meeting men like that. And I just want to understand why. Because there's more than, I don't know how many, I don't know how many women that do what I do, or do what, I don't know. Y'all, I've been off the grid, so I really don't know. Sis, they're just telling you that to get to you. But even if that's the case, you're still trying to get to me. I'm obviously a woman who is on a certain path. So if they're trying to get to me, they should be trying to get to you too. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all I'm saying. It just, I just want to understand that aspect of things. But we gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So 7 signs that she is the one. 7 signs that a woman is truly sent from God. Number 1, guys, like I said before, I really would love for you guys, we have to figure out where we're meeting these women. And like, I don't know if it's like a looks thing. I don't know if it's like, you don't know if they're going to be, pushing you towards marriage. I don't know what that is for you, or maybe you feel like you'll be set. I don't know why that is the way that it is. I meet a lot of men that desire women of God, but are not looking where women of God go. And that part I don't understand. I don't understand. I want a woman of God, a woman who's, I'm a man of God, and I'm okay. Well, why don't you meet women in church? Like, there's a lot of them. I'm sorry, y'all. I literally, I don't know. I wish people would I wish we could have a real answer, because we could then bridge the gap between the women of God that want godly men and the men of God that want godly women. We could bridge that gap and stop allowing the enemy to run amok the way he does and separate us. That's all I'm saying. I just want to understand. All right. Well, anyway. So number 1 way you'll know that a woman is truly sent from God. Number 1 way you'll know a woman is truly sent from God is that she brings you closer to God and not further away. All right. This is a woman that when you meet her, because she's praying, she's reading her Bible, you can have conversations with her about God. And she can have conversations with you about God and existential things that you may not be seeing in the natural. This is a woman, you don't have to shy away from what you're praying about and what you're thinking about. You can tell her, hey, can you pray for me here? A woman that if you're going through something, if you're going through a real situation, this is a woman that can fast and pray and stand with you in a different type of way. Because one thing I will tell you, family, and Pam can stand testament to this, prayer moves mountains. There is a very real spiritual realm. I'm telling y'all, let me tell you, from the time that I decided to go live, to go in a different direction, can I tell you how many things have broken down in my house? Can I tell you how sick that I've been? My daughter has been. Can I tell you the warfare that I've experienced because I've decided to step out in my faith? Like, I know I'm walking in a certain direction. The enemy tried to do something the other day, and I was like, listen, bro, I'm actually not scared. I rebuke and bind you in the name of Jesus. Like, I'm not doing this with you. Like, again, walking in this path, I can tell you, Pam's like, it has been something else. It has literally been like, you cannot explain the highs and the low. Like, there's some lows and there's some highs. And even in the lows, there's highs. Even in the lows, there's highs. Like, that's how I know it's a God walk, because even though I'm being attacked and even though things are happening, like random stuff start breaking out of nowhere, or things happening in my household, I still have peace. And I'm like, you know what, God, I know you're with me. That even though the weapons form, they don't prosper, right? So I'm saying this to say, if there, I could do a whole live about the warfare I've experienced and the things that I've seen in the spiritual realm, the things I'll hear and the things that'll happen. I have seen so much, y'all. Like, I've seen so much. I'm outside praying, y'all, minding my business, and a baby that somebody's holding just opens up her arms to be held by me. Her mom looking at her like, you don't know this woman? Dogs stopping with their owner like, who trying to follow me? I'm like, what's going on right now? Like, what's happening? To where literally I'm walking past, there's a dog, 2 dogs just staring at me, not barking. You would think they'd be barking because I'm walking past, I'm a stranger. No, they're just staring at me, just looking at me like that. I'm like, this is actually insane. I like, and then this baby, like, literally she's with her mom. They're walking the dog, and she opens up her arms like this for me to hold her. She was trying to get to me. I don't know this baby. I'm just doing my walk with God before I decide to get on here so I can get my head straight. But I've seen there's more than that. Just it's so much I can't really explain right now, but there's a lot happening. I've seen things shift. Seen things move. I've seen money appear. I've seen when good things happen, right before a good thing happens, bad things happen. I've seen the warfare. I've seen God is so faithful. And so I say all that to say that when you're with somebody that can pray you out of situations, a person that actually has a foundation, not only is that somebody that's holding themselves accountable to God. So that means that some of the stuff that we worry about when we deal with relationships, a lot of that we nix when we're dealing with somebody who's really holding themselves accountable to God. Not perfect, because I'm not looking for a perfect man. I'm looking for a man who holds himself accountable to God. Right? Because at that point, then I understand that if he is wrong, God gonna deal with him. And if she's wrong, God gonna deal with her. Like, I don't even need to have a conversation about what you said versus what I said. I was watching a couple that were put together by God, and the husband said he was told to do something. He went to go say to his wife, hey, did I hurt your feelings in this area? And she was like, yes. She's like, yes. And he wouldn't have known to do that unless he had a relationship with God. So when you're dealing with somebody who has a relationship with God, somebody that can pray you out of situations, fast and pray, do these things in a spiritual way that is encouraging you to get closer to your creator. Literally nothing matters, y'all, outside of having a relationship with your creator. So if somebody is not pushing you towards your creator, they're not the one for you. I'm sorry. Let's be real. If somebody is not, that's the everything flows from a relationship with God. That's what I've understood. Your businesses flow from relationship with God, your friendships, your family relationships, your marriage, your relationship with your children. That spiritual discernment and wisdom is so important in all aspects of your life. There are business deals you would normally say yes to that when you now have the discernment of the spirit, you say no because you know there's something else tied to it. There are things that you would normally do that you would not normally do, areas you wouldn't go, phones you wouldn't check, computers you wouldn't check when your kids are there. There's discernment that is pivotal in this walk with God that only comes from a relationship with God. So when you're dealing with people of the world, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying they can't be wise and they can't have certain levels of discernment. When you have a relationship with your creator, you've got intel to a divine source. That's a different type of intel. Like I can research and Google all day long and I'm a Googler. Okay, period. Your girl's a researcher. Period. I'm gonna research everything. I like researching it all. But the reality of the situation is there are certain things that only God can tell you in the way that only God can tell you. And I think a lot of us neglect that relationship thinking that if I do more research or blah, blah, blah. No. If God's giving you intel, who can come against you? So again, if a woman isn't pushing you towards God and is not encouraging a relationship with God, and the more that the time that you've been together has not brought you closer to God in any way, shape, or form, she was not sent by God. A relationship that doesn't bring you to God was not sent from God. Period. That's for both men and women. I want to say thank you to YouTube, the YouTube user. I appreciate you for the super chat. I thank you, TD Man, for the super chat as well. Thank you both. Thank you guys for those who give to the channel. It means a lot to me, y'all. I'm sorry I'm a little off today from the sty. Y'all, there's just multiple physical things that have happened to me, but I rebuke that. I'm not gonna let that stop me from going on this live and being faithful. No. No, I'm still here. I'm still here. So anyway, that's besides the point. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So if a woman brings you closer to God and not further away, she inspires you to grow spiritually. Her presence convicts, not condemns, and she encourages your walk with God, challenges you to pray more, challenges you to trust him deeper and love better. That's a woman that was sent from God. That's a woman that was sent from God. You better cherish that woman. Okay? Number 2, peace, not pressure. Y'all, I told you guys this last week. I'm going to tell you guys this again. One of the hallmarks of the faith, the hallmarks of knowing where God is leading you is peace. If you have peace, God lives there. The enemy cannot create anything that compares to peace. He can create numbness and he can create temporary moments of happiness, but he cannot create peace. And so if you are dealing with somebody that you do not have peace about, now I've said this before, family, and I'll say this again. The enemy, before you get to the place that you need to get to, before you get to whatever promise that is that God has for you, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, you're always going to be dealt with a counterfeit that looks good but isn't God, okay? And that person is going to, on some level, they're going to romance a part of you that you struggle with. What does that mean? If you struggle with lust, or you struggle with, okay, if she's a beautiful, is she bad? I'm sorry. I'm gonna have if you're a guy that says, listen, If you bad, I don't know. All sense leaves the building. I can't handle bad. If I see bad, I gotta move. Your boy's weak in the area of visual. Okay, and that's okay, y'all. It's a safe space. We all have areas that we need to work on, right? But if it's a beautiful woman or beautiful women that you struggle with, right? Guess what? The enemy is gonna send you a beautiful woman. Now you have to take into account, because every time you deal with a counterfeit woman is, you're always going to have to compromise on some level, right? And you're going to know you have to compromise on some level because it's going to be very clear. There's not going to be peace. There'll be happiness. Y'all might have a good time every once in a while. She might be a good escape, but she's not peace. You think about your life long term, this ain't the woman you're thinking about. She's the in-between time, in the meantime. The problem is, family, hear me very clear, guys. Hear me clearly. What happens with counterfeits is this. You get comfortable with a counterfeit. And that is intentional. The enemy wants you to get comfortable with a counterfeit. Why? Because then you'll settle in the wilderness and you never get to promise. And if you have a promise, right? A promised relationship, a promised person that is waiting on you to get your act together and focus. So guys, if you're listening to me and you have a promise and you know that God is leading you in a direction, and and if some of you guys might even know the direction. Some of y'all might not even know who the woman is. You might be following her right now on IG. You know God told you that's your wife. But you out here playing. No, get focused, family. We don't know how much time we have. And there's purpose that is tied to that relationship. Stop playing games, man. The problem is, what we don't understand, and this is what the enemy does. He deceives us. He's the great deceiver. So what he does is he makes it seem like, oh, you ain't got to do that right now. I mean, bro, like, you, like, what? Like, what? No, like, bro, you got all the time in the world. You gonna do this now? I mean, you was in a relationship like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And you said, bro, it's been, you single for 2-3 years, but bro, it's been you haven't been able to move the way you want to move. You haven't been able to do what you want to do, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that would just lock you down. Like, that's gonna be too much, bro. That's the interview, right? And there's a part of you that knows God is saying, I need you to get it together. And some of y'all have experienced God sitting your behind down and saying, I need you to get it together. Like, you out here playing around, and I've got purpose tied to your lineage. I got purpose tied to your legacy. And you out here playing with these counterfeits, all they doing is making your life harder. You don't realize it. You don't realize it because it's subtle. You could be out here really building a family with the person you're supposed to be with and really doing something for the kingdom, which is bigger than what we're doing right here, right now. But you could be on a whole nother level, like an Abraham or an Isaac or a Jacob. You can absolutely be like that, where kings come from your line. Kings come for your seed, but you out here playing with giving your seed out, giving your seed out to these counterfeits. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but I'm just saying. And then you're now having spiritual ties, soul ties. Y'all, some women, I'm going to be graphic. I'm going to be graphic. Hear me out. People going to be mad about this. There are spells that are being put on you guys. They just are. They're on TikTok. They're on YouTube. It is real. Yes, and they could be beautiful women that do witchcraft, not maybe ignorantly, not really knowing, but they could be doing it too. And y'all are saying, I'm going to deal with you because it's right now. Not understanding that some of the love spells, y'all. Are y'all ready for this? Because this is a common one. And some of you guys have no idea that this is going on. That's the problem, because you're consumed with, I want to play around, not understanding that you're wasting time with women that will not matter for your future. You don't know how much time you have. And maybe God is pressing on your spirit because he knows how much time you have. Maybe God is pressing on your spirit because there's other things that you need to do in the time frame, and you're wasting time dealing with women that may be messing with your head and your spirit and your soul in ways you can't even imagine. So y'all, I heard a story about somebody I know personally, and they took, they take their urine. Some women take their urine, they mix it in with some other stuff, and you may not realize it, but they put it in food or food objects, and they get you to somehow ingest it. Like they might put it on your toothbrush. This is real, y'all. And then they put it with other things so that you have no idea. Like if somebody puts urine on your toothbrush and then they wash it off to where you don't taste it, you would never know. You just would never know. But that is a witchcraft way of getting into your soul. Like now you have this attachment that you really have no idea you had. Yeah, somebody said they put BLOOD in the spaghetti. I've heard that too. I've heard other things that they do, seances that they do. They take your image. All they need is a black and white image and your name, and they do seances to get you to think about them. And here's the thing. One way you'll know is because you don't really like them, but you can't get rid of them. That's how you know. You don't really like them. You don't really like them for real. Like if you're being real, you kind of like them, but the way that you have this, you keep going back to this person, it really doesn't even make sense because you don't really like them. You just with them. That's it. That's how you know. It's like, I don't even know why I'm calling you right now. Like, I don't even know why I'm thinking about you. Like, I really don't even like you. Be aware, guys. Be aware. Or something you just like out of nowhere, just like, why am I thinking about this girl? I don't even, like, again, it's really, you have to know this is the mark of it. It's like you have an awareness that you're really not feeling them like that. There's something that annoys them about you. They kind of bother your spirit. You're around them and they cool, but they're really not. Lorenzo said he had women put eggs behind his bed. Yeah, there's some things that they do. They take over your possessions and do a ritual over your stuff to bind you. Dirt, jar, or pick spells. Absolutely. Y'all, stop. Guys, please hear me. And it just like breaks my heart because there's so many men that are deceived. You choosing the world is not you being free. It's not freedom. If everybody, y'all, I can literally pick out a single man and I can ask him, why is he single? He is going to say the same thing as the next man. Why you don't want to be married? Oh, because it's an unconscionable agreement that men be getting into. Why y'all all saying the same daggone thing? Maybe it's because y'all are not making decisions off of your own intuition. Maybe there's an agenda being pushed to keep men single and keep women single. And I wonder why that would be. And now we have these casual relationships where we're hooking up with all these different types of people, not knowing what spirits they're dealing with, not knowing what they've got going on. And you're bringing these people around you. You're physically intimate with these people, and you think you're okay. You think that this is just going to be, oh, it's just nothing. And then one day I'm just going to be better. One day I'm just going to wake up and, just be a better man. No. Why do you think there's a movement with men that are being celibate? From 50 Cent to Lenny Kravitz, why do you think these men are doing that? And they're saying that they have clarity they haven't had before. I wonder why. Because they're not dealing with the spirits. Why do you think men that they don't have issues getting women? They're attractive men. They could probably have their pick of the litter. Why are those men saying no? Why are those men saying they're waiting? Why do you think that there's a movement like this with that type of guy? Because the reality of it is that there's a clarity that you reach that you would not reach by continuing to move in a certain way. We speak a lot about women waiting. We speak a lot about women, being chased and doing things and holding themselves accountable. And I'm 100% in agreement with that. But the one thing that we do not talk about is men doing the same thing. Because men, you're the head of the household. God charged you with dominion and power. That's what God did to you. You are a king. You are to have dominion. And if you're being influenced by the world and you are not practicing discipline in a certain area of your life, just like King Solomon, you will fall. I know that that's not the popular thing to do. I know it's easier to just go with the flesh and be lustful and do what you're doing. But the reality is, just Google what lust does to men. Just see what's happened in our own society with the successful men that have allowed their lust to take them down a path that they cannot get out of at this point in time. You just see it for yourself, how people have ruined their lineage, their families, and all these different things because they did not know how to have discipline in the area of lust. Why do you think an enemy would put lust in front of you the way that he has if he didn't know that that would be the one thing that would entrap you? There's a reason. There is a reason why corn is so readily accessible to you right now. Why do you think that is? You think that just by happenstance? No, you have a real enemy that wants to take you out. And you have a real God that wants to save you. You have a real God that wants to take you to the next level. And you over here fighting to hold on to something that really you should be letting go of. Family, we don't have control. We don't have control. Control is an illusion. Like right now, you don't know what can happen right now. You leave where you are right now. You don't know what's going to happen when you walk outside your house. You don't know what's going to happen inside your house. You don't know what can happen within your body overnight. You don't know. That's the reality. The reality is we don't have control. The reality is we serve a God that is in control, but we reject his assistance. We reject it. And we think we know better. Oh, I can drive. I know you created the car, but I know what the car can do. You don't have to tell me what to do the car. I know. I read the manual. No, you didn't. You have no idea. Because I see so many men that are deceived that come to me and they need help to get out of the hole they dug themselves into. I don't want any man on here to be deceived. And in today's world where witchcraft is at an all-time high, where witchcraft is everywhere, you guys need to be more afraid than you've ever been. Especially if you're not walking with God. You need to be on a whole nother level. I would say men should be waiting too. That's just my perspective. Because I think, unfortunately, you see a lot of detriment in our society. A lot of things that are going on in our world. And I think if you don't have control with that area in your life, you can't stop yourself. There's a deeper problem there. Somebody asked me, is witchcraft really real? Oh, it absolutely is real. Absolutely is real. Absolutely is real. Okay, number 3, purpose alignment. Okay, when God gives you a vision and you're somebody that God has sent you, you feel when you are with that woman that is even more possible with her by your side. Meaning that if God is giving you something on the inside and you're with a woman and he sent that woman to you, that purpose is going to happen. And you feel more confident it's going to happen because she's here. Because there's something about her presence that makes me more secure about what I've got going on and that God is truly with me. Guys, the Bible says this, and I've seen it with my own eyes. It says a man who finds a wife obtains favor from the Lord. Why wouldn't the enemy say to y'all, oh, don't get married. Don't get married. Oh my God, let me show you a bunch of marriages that didn't last. And let me just scare you about divorce and just make you so terrified about what's going to. No, just seek God about the woman you decide to be with and then make the appropriate decisions about how to protect yourself in that regard. But again, a lot of us are getting married because we think it's the right thing to do, not because we actually feel like God led us into that marriage. That's the truth. We think it's a good thing. It makes sense. It's what we're supposed to do. It's this, that, and the third. We're choosing people we've chosen and getting mad at God when it don't work out. No, you chose that person or I chose that person. That was me. That was what I did. And now I'm mad because it's not going the way I wanted it to go, or it didn't amount or end up the way I wanted it to end up. No, I can't be mad at nobody. I can't be mad at God for that. If he gave me signs, it's on me. And that's what we do. And then we put out here like, oh, but look at the divorce rate. Yeah, because nobody wants to surrender the process. Everybody wants to do their own thing. So of course. I mean, it's just what it is. Everybody wants to get married, but nobody wants to go through process. Everybody want to be a wife, but they don't want to learn how to become a wife. Some men want to be a husband, but haven't learned how to be a husband or what it takes to be a husband. God submits you through a process. And if you do not surrender to process, how can you steward the responsibility well? The thing the enemy does is he promotes people without process. Period. That's what he does. That's what he does to get you to be knocked out from promise. It basically makes you say, I don't want to do that again. Y'all, I've been there. Where you get hit so hard the first time, as much as you may desire connection, you like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. But it's like, that is exactly what the enemy does. He's going to take the first swing at you so hard, and you can either say, I'm going to get back up again. I'm not going to let you take me down. I'm not going to let you deter me from my future. Or you stay down and be like, okay, I'm just going to stay down here. And I'm actually not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay down because that really, really hurt me. And that really broke my heart. And I'm just so sad. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. No, get up. No, get up. That's what God told me. That's what God told me. Get your behind up. Stop feeling bad for yourself. Wipe them tears off your face. How long will you mourn what I've rejected? No, it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to forgive. It's time for you to let that thing go. And it's time for you to walk in purpose. And part of walking in purpose is walking in obedience. And part of walking in obedience is having discipline in areas that is hard to have discipline in. Period. So if a woman distracts you from purpose, if there's a purpose that God has put on your heart, if there's something that God has called you to do, and you are with somebody that distracts you from purpose, where when they're around, you're not focused on what God has called you to do, or they take you further away from what God has called you to do, that's not a woman that was sent from God. It's not. Why would God send you a woman that's distracting you from the very thing he's called you to? If anything, he's going to send you a woman that's going to encourage what God's called you to. There's this, and some of you guys are like, how do I know what God called you to? Well, you spend time with God, right? And when you spend time with God, God starts to reveal his will for your life and the purpose that you have, or he has created you to have. He starts to reveal that in your quiet time. And you can't run from it. I don't care how far you run. Your work is what you're paid to do. Your purpose, your work is what you're paid to do. Your purpose is what you were created to do. It hits different when you're walking in purpose. When you're walking in purpose, you never get tired. You get energy. You get life. Some of you guys have no idea what that's like. You just making money, but you're not in purpose. You're just not. You know you're not. Why are you so short-tempered? You walking in purpose, why are you so short-tempered? Why is it so hard for you to have relationships? Why do you have to feel like you got to put on? If you in purpose, why? You might be making more money than most, but you're still not feeling fulfilled. There's a reason for that, because you're not in purpose. And the enemy can bless you too. You doing a lot of work for the kingdom, for the not God's kingdom, but the other kingdom. Oh, he's gonna bless you too. He's gonna make it hard for you to decide to go a different direction. That's what the enemy does. But you have to know God will bless you in ways the enemy never could. Give all the money in the world and still be spiritually broke. Looking for new experiences, new women, new money, new experiences, new women, new money, new things to distract yourself or to feel fulfilled. It becomes an addiction, a dopamine hit. You're just looking for it because that's where our body seeks. But then God can give you something that you never have. There's water that never runs dry. I know that this is maybe a little spicy, but I really do believe men need to be practicing sexual discipline, just like women should. Because men, you're the head of household. You're the head. You are not the tail. You got to have that level of discipline where you can say no to your flesh, where you're able to say, nah, I don't need that. I tell my body what to do. My body don't tell me what to do. I tell it what to do. You have that kind of discipline, that type of fortitude to say, I can say no to things and I can move forward in the way that God's called me to do, because my body don't run me. I run it. If a man can't run his own body, that's a detriment. You got to think about that. Because guess what? You will be tempted in the future. You will be tempted in your relationships. And what are you going to falter every single time? No, you need to be able to say no now. You practice saying no now. You don't just start practicing saying no when you marry. That's too late. Right. Number 4, the fruit of the Spirit is evident. She doesn't just say she's godly. It shows. Her character reveals love, patience, goodness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control. She lives what she believes. Y'all, this is a big one, family. Please listen to me here. Please, please, please listen to me. There is a lot of women, just like there's a lot of men. There's a lot of women. Thank you, Tommy, overalls, for the support, y'all. Thank you so much, y'all. Era says, if you can't say no to a woman, what else can't you say no to? 100%. James said he's been faithful for 45 years. You go ahead, James. Let them know it's possible. Being in the streets is not appealing, y'all. Even when you in the streets, it's not fulfilling like that. It just isn't. I don't care who you. Y'all can give me the bravado if you want to. Lock me in a room with somebody who got the most bravado and says, "Yeah, you know, I'm good, man. I'm gonna do me out here in these streets. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Ain't nobody ever gonna lock me down. I'm blah blah blah." Lock me in a room for about an hour and a half. I'll tell you, I'll tell you, I will get a different response. I promise you, I would, because that's not fulfilling. Why is it the men that be in the streets be the main ones with a woman at home waiting on them? They be the main ones. Got a whole woman at home waiting on them, and they got some like women in the streets. It's because women serves a different purpose. Women serve a different purpose. Women are in that regard, women are now feeding a different wound. That's what that is. Somebody said, "Sam, I can tell you have brothers, your impersonations." I sure do. I got 2 brothers. That's funny. But yes, fruit of the spirit is evident, y'all. Again, a lot of women and a lot of men. But we talk about women tonight, y'all. So please, but it goes both ways. We can put it one side to the other. What's the fruit? What is the fruit? What is the fruit fruiting? And I say this with all due respect. There's a lot of women I know. There's a lot of women you know. There's a lot of people we know that say that they are Christians. They if you ask them, they devout Christians. They go to church every Sunday. They sit on the second pew. They can quote scriptures to you. They can do this, that, and the third. But their life does not speak to any type of relationship with God. I don't care if you go to church every Sunday. I don't care about that. What's the fruit look like? God was made way more concerned with people's external than internal. If you look at the Bible and you look at the story of Jesus, he cared less about the people that was in the church and knew all the laws and can quote them and can do this. He was not impressed by that because their hearts were far from them. It's about your heart posture. Who are you as a person? What is your character like? Who are you when the lights go down and you in your house by yourself? Who do you become? Who are you? Yeah, it's easy to be Christian of the year when everybody's watching, but who are you privately? It's part of the reason why a lot of people aren't in the church, nor do they believe in the sanctity of the church, because we are not representing the church well. We are not representing the church well. That's why people don't want to go to the church, because they're like, oh, well, they're hypocrites. They do this, they do that. You're right. They are. They're out here saying, they talk about scriptures every time they mess up. Oh, well, God is a forgiver and God is a good God, and I pray that you forgive me. No. Is the fruit fruiting? Somebody not just saying, hey, I go to church, but nothing about their life speaks to a relationship with God. There's nothing about their life where they are literally, where you can see that they talk to Jesus every day. Because that's going to bring a fruit. There's going to be things about the conversation, aspects of their character that you will see God in it. You'll be like, oh no, that's a real one. And y'all, you don't need a whole lot of time to determine who's a real one and who's not. I can spend 15 minutes with somebody and can tell who's real and who's not. And if I can take 15 minutes, I'm sure God takes 2 seconds. Just because somebody says they know Jesus or they're a Christian or I love God or this, that, and third, what does their life look like? How do they represent themselves? Because I'll be honest with you, when you, it's not about like how you look. It really isn't about that as much to me. It's more about, I can tell what you value. What do you value? What do you value? Is there something about your life? Is there something about how you move that makes me think that you value God number one? Because if God is number one, it's evident, family. It wouldn't be a secret. It wouldn't be a mystery. It wouldn't be blues, clues. Who know what to do? We're going to sit down in the thinking chair and think. Because when we use our minds, take a step at a time, we can do anything that we want to do. Okay, yeah, no, we're not going to be doing Blue's Clues to figure out. Sit in a thinking chair and think. To figure out if you're really as real about your faith as you say you are. I shouldn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the reality. Like, the reality is, when I spend time with God, there are things that I'm going to do and say that may not be what you see in the world. In fact, you won't see it in the world. You won't see it in the world. That's why it's very important when I talk to guys, like, listen, I don't care if she got a Bible verse tattooed on her forehead. I don't care if she got a Bible verse in her bio saying Philippians 4, whatever. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. No, I don't want to see John 3:16 in your bio. And do you have a relationship with your God, baby? Yeah. Can I see the Lord when you speak? Can I tell that when you pray, mountains move? Can I tell that that you have a real relationship with God? Yes, I don't look like the stereotypical Bible-towing Christian. I don't look like that. I don't look like that at all. I know that. And I know that in the future, if I step on stages in somebody's church, they're going to be like, that's a pastor? Actually just made me laugh. That just made me laugh. That's somebody preacher? You lying. I done seen it all. She's about to preach? That one? She's the speaker? She talks about Jesus? Oh, wow. Jeez. They done changed. Instagram models preach now? What? First of all, I'm not no Instagram model. I'm not doing that with y'all now. They're evolving. They're like a Pokemon. They're going from Charmander to Charizard. Where did this come from? How did she become from a Charmander to a Charizard? Just saying. I'm just, but the reality is, again, family. Sam still knows her Pokemon. I sure do. I sure do know my Pokemon. Y'all, I collected them for a solid years. I was out when I was a kid. I had the whole Pokemon book, and I would go trading. I would go from house to house to trade the Pokemon cards, like in my neighborhood. Every house we used to be out here trading cards and battling. No, I was a real Pokemon person. So funny. Anyway, guys, I'm besides the point. But the fruit of the Spirit will be evident, and that's love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control. If somebody lacks peace or somebody lacks patience, and that, mind you, no one is perfect, again, but the fruits of the Spirit are the fruits of the Spirit. You test the Spirit by the Spirit. So just because somebody says that they walk with God, if there's nothing about their walk that speaks to a real relationship with God, meaning you ain't never seen this person pray, and no judgment, is just, I'm not discerning that this relationship with God that you speak of in lightly reference to is real, right? And that's fair. We have discernment on purpose. Utilize it. Don't just say because she got a Bible verse in her bio and she told you, and you ask her, she's a Christian, she says yes. Okay, cool. If you're really walking, then you got to find somebody who walking too. You got to be walking too. You can't just settle in the wilderness because, maybe you don't see what you like in the church. Maybe that's what it is. You don't see women you're attracted to like that in church. I don't know what it is. I still don't know, because there's a lot of beautiful women in my church, but these men don't be even stunning them like that. I don't know why. Somebody said it be hard when you out here in the streets for real. Yeah, I know. You ain't gotta tell me. I don't talk to street warriors. I don't talk to street soldiers. They don't like being in the streets themselves. Everybody want. If you out here and you sleeping with women on pretty consistent basis, you actually want a relationship. You just fighting with yourself. You want that consistent companion. You want that stability. You want something deeper. That's what you really want. You just fighting you. It's you and you at war because maybe you've been hurt before. And I get that. I've been hurt too. But you can't allow hurt or past pain to cause you to say, forget this, because you're denying an aspect of yourself that you cannot run from. Who do you run to when I need love? Sorry, y'all. Just had to do that. That was just there. It was there. I couldn't do. I just was there. It's on my spirit. Number 5. She honors you in private and public. Men of God. Part of the reason why I think a woman of God is so amazing is because we are taught divine order, baby. We're divine order. What does that mean? That means we are taught healthy submission. And we don't just submit to any man. We submit to a man who's submitted to God. I don't like when men, they conveniently bring up the verse. Well, Ephesians 5 says, you submit to me, so do my laundry. Wash my dishes, woman. Drop down and give me 50. Like, no. A woman is submitting to a man who is submitting to God. You better go over there and meet me some dinner. Make me a sandwich. Like, girl, I mean, boy. All I'm saying is we are taught healthy submission, divine order, which means that I don't want to be in a relationship running the relationship. I want to be with a man who lead me. I want to be led. I don't want to lead. That's just where I'm at with it. I think healthy submission is a beautiful thing. That I just do. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think most people can agree it's a beautiful thing, but because it's been misused and abused, we don't want to do it anymore. Because the last person that we caught ourselves letting lead us led us into a brick wall. Right? And so now we're saying we're never going to submit to another man. Well, no, you submit to a man who submitted to God. That's divine order. That's the process. Is I submit to a man who submits to God. If he submitted to God, I submit to him. Thank you, Sam. I enjoyed tonight. Good night. Good night, Tommy. Thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the live. Thank you. Thank you for always supporting the live. Honestly, Tommy, you're amazing. I appreciate you. But yeah, it's like a woman who honors you in private and public. Respect isn't something you have to earn constantly. It's freely given. If a woman uplifts you, speaks life into you, and doesn't tear you down when you're vulnerable. A woman who uplifts you, speaks life into you, and doesn't tear you down when you're vulnerable. I'm going to say that again. A woman who uplifts you, speaks life into you, and doesn't turn you down when you're vulnerable. This is a woman who's your cheerleader. A woman that loves you. A woman that honors you. And even when you're not honorable, she still honor you. Even when you're not doing right by her, she's still doing right by you. And that takes time. It takes character to see somebody over time. Like, how do they always show up for me? Are they showing up consistently? You know what I'm saying? Are they always loving? Is it hard to talk to them? Do they tear me down? Do they make me feel some type of way? Or are they somebody that's like I know this person, their heart is right. You want someone in your life that respects you and speaks to the king inside of you, right? We already got enough going on in the world. A woman that's sent from God is not going to be a woman that tears you down. A woman that's sent from God is not going to make you feel less than and make you feel like you've got to prove it to her too. It's a woman who believes in you. And let me tell you something, somebody believing in you, somebody loving you, somebody speaking to the person within you. When you're dealing with somebody that truly loves you and truly wants what's best for you, they're going to speak to you in that way. There's going to be fruit that comes from genuinely rocking with you in that way. When a woman is sent from God, again, she's going to uplift you. She's going to speak life into you. She's not going to tear you down. She's going to honor you in private and public. It's not that I just don't out you on the internet and put all our dirty laundry out there, although that's happening too. But it's privately, there's this level of respect for you that you can feel. You know, she's not disrespecting you. She's not coming at you crazy. Right? So that's number 5. She honors you in private and public. Number 6, confirmation through prayer and wise counsel. Y'all, this is the area none of us have done, or a lot of us haven't done. I've seen some people do it and they're super wise. But God confirmed this woman. You had peace when you prayed about her. Spiritual mentors and wise voices affirm the relationship. Y'all, it's a red flag when, the people that you trust in a spiritual sense are like, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about your homeboys that want you single because they can benefit off of the women that come your way. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people that you can trust, people you can trust in discernment. They praying to the same God you praying to, and you bringing this person around and their spirit is not, they're like, I don't know about this one, bro. I don't know. And honestly, y'all, when you are standing for somebody or you believe somebody's your wife and you go to God about it, he will make your path straight. If this is your wife, you're going to have peace about it. If it's not your wife, you're not. And peace is this wrestling, this internal struggle that even when you go before God, and God is a God of peace, when you pray to him, you're going to have peace about things. When you still don't have peace about that relationship, when you're still wrestling, you're still toiling, and I'm not talking about you've been doing it for so long, you don't even feel conviction about this relationship, because that's the one thing we don't talk about. When you've chosen what you've chosen for so long, your heart hardens. So God can't even speak to you in that area because you're not letting him in. That's a very scary place to be, because the moments where God can't reach your heart means your heart is hardened, and it means you're lukewarm. And what does he do with lukewarm? He spits y'all out. That's what he does. So again, it's about really trying to seek God. And if you seek God and he tells you something, you move on it. Right? And I believe that God confirms his word. If it's a woman that God is sending you, he will confirm it. You'll have dreams. You might start seeing synchronicities. You might start seeing her around. Like you see, where's she from? You see the car she drive. You see a video pop up. And it's like you're not even looking. You're trying to avoid it. You still find things or see things. God's not letting you get away from her. There's something in your spirit that's curious about her. She's not representing herself like the world. She's representing herself as something different and is unique and is kind of dope. And I kind of like it. And I don't know, kind of like cool, but I'm a little scared of it. I haven't been in that direction before. Like God is going to highlight, the enemy will highlight, and God will highlight certain people in your life. Enemy doesn't really highlight one. He highlights many, right? He going to bring women. And the difference between enemy and God is that the woman that the enemy has for you doesn't fulfill you. That's how you know. Meaning that even when you're around her, you still see the highlighted woman. Like you could be with your woman now, and the woman that's highlighted, the one that you can't really get away from, the woman that's like, I don't know about that one. That one right there is something different. Yeah. The enemy, when you're with the enemy, like a counterfeit, there's still a thought of what else is out there. When you know it's God and you're around somebody that you know is God, ain't no question about what's out there. You know that that's the best. Now, what you decide to do with that is on you, but you know that that's quality, and you know, like when you're with that, you're not going to want nothing else. Right? And like I said, when God confirms his word. So if you feel like somebody prophesied over you, or you're feeling these promptings, or you're feeling you saw a dream, or you had a dream, and you pray about it, you go to wise counsel, you go to other people that pray the same God you pray to. You go to your pastors, you go to people, in your circle, like, hey, I know, like, I'm feeling this way about this woman, and I feel like I'm crazy. What do I do about this? Go to wise counsel. Don't just be you and you saying, hey, listen, privately, one-on-one, maybe a guy that you pray with, a guy that you go to church with, or whatever. Hey, listen, bro, there's this girl that I'm seeing her in my dreams. I'm just like, I can't really run away from her. I think there's something to this. I'm not really sure. It's kind of like weird. I've never felt this way before. And y'all listen, when it's spiritual, your spirit will resonate. I know I've called people about things that God has called me to, and people that I trust in the faith. And they're like, there's nothing coming up in my spirit about this. Like, I don't have any like unctions. Like, I don't know, that might be. There's nothing in my spirit saying no. Right? And so make sure that you're not just running with dreams, because I'm seeing people, they run with dreams, or they run with confirmations. Like, oh, if it's my husband, have him wear this, and this, and do that, and that, and step on one foot and do. At some point, God's not going to, he'll stop doing that. We have to remember the enemy can give us signs too. So it's not about like looking for a sign. A lot of us be dependent upon signs. God confirms his word through people, through other prophetic voices, through things that you'll see. Like, you'll know, like, there's something about this that's different. Right? So God, remember, you will find, let me read that again. Confirmation through prayer, wise counsel. You had peace and prayer when you prayed about this woman. She's not just beautiful. She doesn't just catch your eye. There's something about her that's different. You can't run from it. You want to. You don't like it. It makes you feel scared. Right? Like, why? I don't know this woman to have this feeling, but that's where you have to really tap in. There's a reason why she's highlighted. Tap in. Don't just settle with that. There's a reason. There's no coincidences in the kingdom, right? And number 7, she's not perfect, but she's willing. This one I love because I think they're of both sides of the fence, whether they're men and women. They have this thing where we're looking for perfection. Ain't nobody perfect, family. We all got something. We all have something that we're working on, working towards. And so to get hung up on the fact that somebody ain't perfect, it's truly not fair, because none of us are perfect, right? And so it's not about perfection. It's really more about a growth mindset. What do I mean by this? A woman who is sent from God is going to have the willingness to change and take accountability. She's not coming perfect, but she's coming in with a sense of realness and authenticity of the fact that she's not perfect. I did a video, I'm going to put it out soon, but a woman that's really religious, I feel like is like hyper religious or just religious in general, where they're very much in Christian tradition and very like, they're judgmental, they're critical, they're not coming from a place of love and the fruits of the spirit. That is a red flag. Somebody being too religious, in my opinion. Like, there's got to be a realness about who you are, where you can be you and she can be herself, and it doesn't feel like you got to be put on airs or be Mr. Perfect around her, or she got to be Mr. Perfect around Mrs. Perfect around you. It's like, no, I know you have a relationship with God. I know you ain't perfect. I know there's areas that you can grow in. But again, it's about someone who is willing to grow, a woman who is willing to compromise, a woman who is willing to take accountability, a woman who is willing to love you beyond a condition, a woman who is willing to do the inner work required for a God-centered union. Got to find a woman that has basically, honestly, to be a Christian is to have a growth mindset. To be a Christian is to take accountability. To be a Christian is to die to yourself every day. Really, it's about carrying your cross, carrying your burdens. Right? We have to die to ourselves every day. Like, if you are walking with God, you're not going to be this self-righteous person that's judgmental, critical. Everything the other person does is demonic, and this and that and the third. Now, is there demonic forces? Absolutely. But we have to be with somebody that, yes, you're a Christian, and yes, you're with a man who's a Christian, but there's a realness about this person. There's an authenticity about this person where they can own where they're weak at, and they're willing to do the work. I really feel like that's a big thing that we don't see a lot in today's culture, is that people are like, I am who I am, and I'm unwilling to make changes. I'm unwilling to make sacrifices. And that does not produce the fruit of a real lasting relationship. Real lasting relationships require work, require sacrifice, require compromise. And if we're unwilling to do that, I would question if this woman is sent from God. A woman who is sent from God should be able to take accountability for her actions, have a growth mindset, want to go further, want to go deeper, want yes, maybe she doesn't hear your criticism at first, but she comes around. Like, you want that. That is a woman that is sent from God, because she's ready for what the relationships come with. Because when we're in a relationship, we're going to have to make sacrifices. We're going to have to make changes. We're going to have to take accountability. One of us is going to have to apologize. It is what it is. And you want to be with somebody who's okay with doing that. Do not want to be with somebody who refuses to see themselves. You don't want to be with a perfect person. I don't want to be with nobody perfect. I don't want to be with nobody perfect. I don't. That sounds exhausting. Because I know I'm not perfect. You're going to be mad at me every day. Because I'm not perfect. I have my ways about me. I have strengths. I also have weaknesses. And so a woman who, again, is not perfect, but she's willing to put the work in. She has a work ethic of like, I'll do what it takes for the relationship. And that's first modeled with her relationship with God, I would assume. If a woman is not sacrificing and making compromises to God, why do you think that she would do that for you? If I can't do it for my creator, how can I do it for you? you don't have a shot in the dark. At some point, you know, you have to really, I think when I think about a relationship and I think about people that are coming from God, you guys, it's so important for us to understand the gravity of a real relationship with God is. It's the foundation to everything. I think we make it more of like an accessory when it's not an accessory, it's a foundational piece. It's what you build your house on. Because y'all, I've been going through a lot of warfare in my own life. And if my rock was on a different foundation, I would be all over the place. I would not be able to do and handle the mantle that God has been giving me. You have to build your rock on sturdy foundation. And so I think every relationship, everything we do flows from the relationship with God, number one. So anyway, y'all, those are these 7 divine signs that she is truly sent from God. Okay, I'm going to read it out just to recap for you guys. Number 1 is that she brings you closer to God, not further away. Number 2, she brings peace and not pressure. Because remember, God is not the author of confusion. There's a deep peace that surrounds your connection. Not perfect, but it won't feel forced or chaotic. Purpose alignment. She does not distract you from your calling. She complements it. In the vision that God gave you seems more possible with her by your side. The fruit of the Spirit is evident. She's not just saying she goes to church. She's not just saying she's a Christian. She's not just saying those things. Her character reveals love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control. I'm not talking about religious acts. I'm not talking about religion. Oh, she don't drink. She don't do this. She don't do. I'm saying, what does her character reveal? That flows from a relationship with God. We focus so much on what we do because that's what the world does. We focus on what we do. Who are you as a person, as an individual? What is your character like? That is what matters. That she honors you. Number 5 is she honors you in private and public. Respect is not something you have to earn. It's given. She uplifts you, speaks life into you, and doesn't tear you down when you're vulnerable. Number 6 is confirmation through prayer and wise counsel. God confirmed this woman. You had peace when you had prayer. Spiritual mentors and wise voices affirm it. Number 7, she's not perfect, but she is willing. She's willing to do the work. She's willing to compromise. She's willing to make sacrifices. She's willing to put things aside for the mission of your family. She's willing, if going out too much is a lot for you and that's not what you desire from her, she stops it. If she's saying, if you're saying you can't go out and do this all the time, she stops it. Like, it's a woman who it desires to make amends for the relationship, right? Somebody who could take accountability for their actions and say, I'm wrong. You know what? I messed up. I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. Because that's growth. That's real spiritual maturity. Spiritual immaturity is when you have to say you're perfect and put on airs and make it seem like you just blowing in the wind with Jesus. Like, no, ain't nobody blowing in the wind with Jesus. Jesus is in an ark in a boat all by himself, right? So when I hear people that are just so hyper, I guess religious, I don't know what you call it, but I think you absolutely have to have boundaries when it comes to people that are not walking the walk you are walking. But I don't like it when people act like they're better than, or they haven't been in that position and they're super judgmental and critical and religious. I don't think that's that's a hard one to be in a relationship with. It's somebody that is not perfect, but she is willing. Not perfect, but she is willing. I wanted to read the comment. The last super chat that we got here was, you cooking, Sam. Not God spoke to me about you. Not sure why, but you speak something bright. I enjoy listening to you. Blessings for sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for the super chat, Swat Jones. I appreciate that. I don't know what God is saying to you about me, but I hope it's good things because I'm trying, Lord. He know I'm trying. But God is faithful and He is good and He is just. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey. I'm really trying to go in a different direction. I really feel called here. And I thank you for just being patient with me, supporting me. Yes, you have things, stuff that comes up, but it's overwhelming support and love that really resonate and mean a lot to me. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for rocking with me. And we're going to go upward and upward, higher and higher. Okay. Thank you to everybody that gave on the live today. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for those who gave on the Cash App. I can't see it because I'm on the lives. But I thank you guys as well for the support that you decide to give me. You don't have to, but you decide to. And I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. I love y'all. I hope you guys have a great evening. And we will see each other soon. I'm probably going to pop up on a live shortly. So just know that I will be doing it. I apologize I haven't done it sooner. It's been a lot going on in my life when it comes to just random stuff. But I know it's the warfare. God is about to do something big and new in my life. I'm just going to believe that. So thank you guys for everything. And I will see you guys soon.